Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy right here. This is the Kizer Knives Mini Domin. So first off, I want to thank my buddy Nick for sending this along. That's right, Nick, not me, Nick, but another Nick. Actually, another Nick with a YouTube channel. Is his Pacific Standard Time. You should check him out. But anyways, he sent this guy along as a donation to the channel, which is very generous of him, and I very much do appreciate that. Next thing, let's do a size comparison real quick. We'll start off here with this guy in next to your Ontario Rat number 2 and your Spyderco Delica. So you can see here that size-wise, it's actually very similar to the Rat 2 in terms of overall dimensionality, frankly, overall approach to the world. So there you go, and then here it is against your Spyderco PM2. So, yeah. There's your overall size. Then finally, this guy is going to be a quick review because, well, yeah, don't need a whole lot else. Let's go ahead and talk about what's good and what's not so good about this very interesting knife here. To start with, on the good side, they sell at multiple scales. In addition to the baby puke green that is JG10, which is the best thing you can say about it. It is very easy to dye. They also have other, to dye it a different color, not like to dye. It's, well, yeah, anyways, that's beside the point there. This is not harmful to you to the best of my knowledge. But anyways, it has a scales that are very easy to recolor using some chemical means. But they also offer other color options on their website, which is a beautiful thing. Next thing, ergonomically speaking, the knife is fine. Couple of little hot spots off of, for instance, the tip of the clip here, and these little corners back here, but, you know, by and large, ergonomically good to go. Next thing, clip on this guy, although it is over some pretty heavily textured G10, it works fine. It's okay. It's a spring clip. It's basic, but it does the job. No problem there. Then finally, not quite finally, on the good side, it's $55, which, is a solid budget price. There are lots of budget knives out there for $55. I mean, by definition, a knife out there for $55 is a budget knife, but still, I digress. That's a pretty solid approach there. And then finally, on the good side, it is a very, very nice blade. The blade on this guy is N690 steel. N690 is a good budget steel. It's a steel that works pretty well. It's relatively easy to strop. I'm not a huge fan of it necessarily, but for everyday carry, it's absolutely good to go. And they have done an incredible job grinding it out. If we take a look here, I'm going to see if I can get this zoomed in. You can see that this is crazy thin, that is, behind the edge. Again, if we zoom in on the tip here, that's really freaking thin. So I just love the fact that they ground this guy so aggressively. This is a knife that cuts just beautifully. And I love that. That's something I want to see more and more often. So to me, that's the good here, is it has a very, very nice blade. For a budget knife, N690 is good to go with this gorgeous little grind here. It is $55 with a fine clip, reasonable ergonomics, and scales that are both available in different colors and very easy to dye in this particular variety. On the bad side, JG10 remains just ugly as heck. But that's a matter of opinion. I just happen to have the right opinion there. Sorry, haters. Next thing, the clip on this guy, as I did mention, is on top of grippy G10, and it is maybe a little bit on the tighter side. But you know what? It works. It's absolutely fine for keeping it in the pocket. But the real issue, the biggest problem here, and the reason I'm not super in love with this knife is the action on it is just terrible. This is one of the very first knives I'm aware of from Kizer, as you saw in the disassembly, that is using both Teflon and the phosphor bronze washes. And as a result, you get an action that is slightly better than your average Teflon action, but that's not saying a whole lot. That's like saying, oh, that's slightly more fun than your average case of the flu. It's just not great. And so, unfortunately, the washer action is very slow, and it is a little bit stick-slippy. Mostly, though, it has a terrible detent. There is a detent there. It's not completely unsafe, but it's just not a great action. I'm able to flip it out there, but only with some, after manipulating it a little bit. You kind of have to get the oil flowing a little bit for it really to work effectively. So the action on this guy, I don't particularly care for. Just as a mechanical object, it's not super well done. And I actually prefer the action pretty vastly on the Ontario Rat 2 here, which has a stronger detent and therefore is super reliable to open. So to me, that's the bad here, is that it is just a terrible action with some kind of an internal Teflon thing. The clip is on grippy G10, and the G10 just remains ugly as heck. Final conclusion on this guy, it's a quick review, so hey, I'm keeping it quick for once. Look, this is a weird knife. It's a decent price and a very, very nice blade grind. That's the way, that's what I will remember this knife for if I ever think about this knife again after filming this review. And that's a good question. But nevertheless, it's got a very, very, very nice grind. I wish all blades out of Kizer were ground this way. They would just be better. These kinds of relatively thin stock with relatively tall, flat grinds, they just cut great, and I love seeing that. Unfortunately, though, they've coupled it with a handle that just doesn't have a great action. It's kind of way below par at this price. I mean, at this point in time, in the knife world, for 40 or 50 bucks, you're getting things like this little guy. This is the Civivi Praxis here, which has just an incredible bearing action here. It's super smooth, strong detent. You can get like the Ontario Rat too, which again, strong detent, smooth action. There are lots and lots of really great actions in the world. And by the way, centering, not there either. So it just feels like it's below par at this point. I mean, heck, when a $25 cricket knife is schooling you in terms of overall action, you've got a problem. And unfortunately, this is sort of a symptom of just Kizer's action having been very inconsistent lately. For a while there, they had their detents relatively well dialed in, but it feels like something slipped over there. And so, yeah, maybe another one of these could be good. Maybe you've got one, you're going to be like, Nick, the detent on mine is great. Well, that's not counter evidence. That's just, I mean, look, it's just, that's not great. And so ultimately, I feel like the market for a $50 knife is gotten better than this guy is. The blade is amazing. I wish every knife, frankly, at $100 had a grind like this one. But the thing is, if you look at things like Civivi and Ontario and Ruwaiki, Rake, whatever the heck you want to call these people right here, if you look at the kinds of things that they're doing, it's cheaper than this and better than this. So that's just not amazing. So ultimately, I love the blade. I don't like the handle. It's kind of a little bit disappointing, honestly. This knife has great promise over here and poor execution over here, and I very much hope that Kizer's going to put grinds like this knife on, well, basically handles like the rest of them, and you might end up with something amazing, and where they clearly give a damn about the rest of the knife. So there you go. That's my final conclusion. Is swing and a miss, but nevertheless, very, very nice blade. Hope this has been interesting to you. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.